Hello, Oilers fans and Stars fans and any hockey fan tuning in right now. Welcome to the day after episode of the Oilers 3-2 victory over the Dallas Stars in double overtime. Now, there was a lot of concern after that double minor in overtime. In the first overtime to Connor McDavid that was called like 12 seconds after the Oilers had touched the puck like 4 times. The linesman ended up calling that one. I will discuss that. In the end, it was the right call, and the officiating in general, that's going to be a huge talking point in the video today, so I will make sure I get to that. However, I did just want to thank everyone that tuned into the live stream last night. Almost 4,000 people tuned in at some point, so that is amazing. That's incredible. Your support has just truly blown me away over the past several weeks, so thank you very much. If you enjoy my playoff content and you want to see more, just make sure you hit like on this video. That is like the best way to support the channel. And if you're not yet subscribed and you end up liking this video at the end, definitely hit that sub button. I will be live streaming the rest of this series, and hopefully the Oilers can continue to play well. This was a game where I thought Edmonton, this was one of their stronger games in the postseason. One of their best 5-on-5 games for sure as well. Now, a lot of question marks coming in. Could Stuart Skinner, could he continue to play well? I thought he had a good but not amazing Game 7 against Vancouver. Same with the Game 6. However, what he's doing right now is he's not letting teams score 3 on him. He gave up 1 goal in Game 6 to Vancouver, 2 in Game 7, and then only 2 tonight. And he faced some pretty good shots. And we knew Stuart Skinner was dialed in pretty early from that first period. He made a couple big stops. He made that breakaway save on Dadonov, or Dadonov. I don't know how you want to pronounce it. And I kind of knew right away, and that kind of settled me when I was watching the live stream, or when I was live streaming. I wasn't watching it. I was actually live streaming. My heart rate was a little elevated, but when Skinner made those first couple saves in the first, heart rate started to come down, and I felt a lot more comfortable as the game progressed. And the Oilers overall, after the first period, I thought their game really started to get better and better, and they really took over, especially in the third period. I did like that the Oilers did not sit back with the lead in the third period. It is unfortunate that Dallas was able to come back and tie it, but that is a testament to the Dallas Stars. Tyler Seguin, he had both goals for Dallas. First one was off a just terrible giveaway by Brett Kulak, and he doesn't do that very often in the postseason, so I'm going to cut Kulak some slack here. And then the second goal for Tyler Seguin, Desharnais and Nurse both had an opportunity to clear the zone. They did not get it out. Shot from the point deflects right to a wide open Tyler Seguin. There's absolutely nothing Stuart Skinner could do, but I thought Skinner played really well. He got a little bit lucky in overtime. Dallas hit a couple posts on that double minor power play. So, for Edmonton, obviously, you got to be lucky to be good, and you got to be good to be lucky. And they were a bit lucky last night when it came in the post department. But Ekholm, he had a post on his own. And Jake Ottinger, when he made that save on Connor McDavid near the end of that first overtime, obviously McDavid, he had a lot of time to put the puck where he wanted to, and he hesitated just a little too much. Tanev was able to come in, get his stick on that, not give McDavid a proper shot on goal. Now, before I get into the actual discussion part of this video, there's something I want to highlight. Now, as a fan, I always preach positivity. I don't trash talk. I don't gloat after wins because, I'm kind of superstitious. I believe in things like karma. And, when it comes to a team winning, I always say good game to the opponent, other teams' fans. There was one specific comment, though, that was left on my pregame report video yesterday. I'm assuming from a Dallas Stars fan, maybe from a Canucks fan. I'm not sure. But I'm going to highlight it here because I thought it was funny, and I just want to, I want to point this out. So this comment, it will be 3-0 Stars in the first period. Oilers are going to get a rude awakening when the Stars open Skinner up like a can of tuna. That dude has no business being in a conference final game. Sorry, Oil, it's going to be a short series for you. Now, why do I not gloat? Why do I not trash talk like this? Because when you post something like that, and then Skinner comes out and gives you 33 saves on 35 shots, a .939 save percentage. The only player for the Stars to score was Tyler Seguin, and the Oilers come out on top, 3-2 in double overtime. I just wanted to point that out. I hope you are having a wonderful day, whoever you were, SS, whatever your username is. And for Oilers fans, obviously do not go and rag on that guy or girl. Obviously, I think it was mostly done in a joking manner, but there's no accidents in the NHL. When you get to this point in the playoffs, conference finals, there are no accidents. You deserve to be there, and we are well aware of Stuart Skinner's struggles. I'm so happy that he is proving people wrong right now. His last 3 games, he has done a terrific job at shutting things down when he has to. And the Oilers, obviously, you would like to see them hold on to a lead in the third period. They are pretty notorious, no matter what the lead is, whether it's 1 goal or 3 goals. They're pretty notorious at maybe giving it up to a little too much, but there's lots to discuss. I liked Edmonton's game overall. I thought it was great. So let's jump into the actual discussion part of this video. So Oilers Stars Game 1 recap. Edmonton leads the series 1-0. Nice to always take that first game on the road. If Edmonton can get that second game, that would be amazing, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Final score is 3-2, double overtime. Now, bottom of the screen, we have all the advanced metrics at 5-on-5 in favor of the Oilers here. So Edmonton had a 55.660 expected goals for percentage, 56.20 Corsi for percentage, 61.54 high danger Corsi for percentage, and scoring chances for 53.97%. Now, the topics in today's discussion: double OT magic, STUUUU, 5-on-5 play, special teams, defense, officiating, keys for game number 2, and closing thoughts. So we're going to jump right into it. Double overtime magic. I already kind of discussed that first overtime. Connor McDavid took that penalty early in the first OT, off the face-off actually, and then Edmonton was able to kill that off. Both teams kind of going back and forth, getting their chances. I thought the Oilers, controlled play after they were able to kill off that 4-minute power play against the Stars. And, I can't say enough good things about the Oilers, top guns. Draisaitl, he scored last night. McDavid scored. When we look at the team as a whole, Zach Hyman scored 2, by the way, his 12th goal of the postseason. The Oilers' big guns came out to play, and there was a lot of questions going into this. Would Chris Tanev lock things down? Tanev, he played a lot of minutes against McKinnon, against the Avalanche, played a lot of minutes against the Vegas Golden Knights top stars, and he's not usually on the ice for many goals against. Last night for Dallas, Chris Tanev was on the ice for 3 goals against. Miro Heiskanen, he had a pretty bad game in the expected goals for department. So for the Oilers, I think you're happy with the game overall. And Evan Bouchard, man, seriously, I've talked about him ad nauseum on this channel. Give that guy a blank check. He may be my front runner for the Conn Smythe right now. The Oilers, second overtime, puck goes in deep. Nugent Hopkins cycles, comes around to the near right half wall. Bouchard, he finds Connor McDavid, who just parked himself in the slot area. Not sure how he got so open. Dallas kind of forgot that he was there, I guess. McDavid will tip in. Looked like Zach Hyman-esque. I think Connor McDavid taking some tips from Zach Hyman, how to tip that puck in from that area of the ice. Really happy to see Edmonton come out with the win. And considering what happened in that first overtime, considering, how the officiating had gone, you could argue in the Dallas Stars' favor. I think for Edmonton to come out on top here is absolutely massive. Take that first game, take some momentum, take home ice advantage away from the Stars. And hopefully they're able to build on that. And I'm really glad that this game didn't end up being extended into, late into double overtime or even going to triple overtime. I was so happy when I was live streaming last night. I was telling the chat, I was like, I'm so happy that this game is not starting at 8 or 8:30 p.m. like the other games in round 1 and 2 were starting. But it didn't matter. This game didn't end until 10:30 anyways because of double overtime. It's always nice to see the Oilers win in overtime. I find that they have struggled in the playoffs in, recent memory when it comes to overtime performance. So to get an overtime win, double overtime win against a very, very good Dallas Stars team, cannot be happier. Now, I'm going to segue into Stu. Yes, Stuart Skinner had an unbelievable game last night. He had almost 2 goals saved above expected for the game. He had a .939 save percentage. And if you're the Oilers and Stuart Skinner, very good signs right now. He seems to be getting better and better since he sat for Calvin Pickard, and we got to give Calvin Pickard a lot of credit. He was able to come in, give quality starts for Edmonton. He gave them 2 quality starts. He won one and lost one. The second game that he played, not his fault that he lost. The Canucks played a really good game in Game 5. But, Pickard was able to come in. Stuart Skinner, he was able to get a mental reset. And I'm very happy that Chris Knobloch had the cojones to do that. Obviously, previous coaches probably wouldn't have. Jay Woodcroft did not start Jack Campbell in any game in the playoffs last year, despite Skinner getting pulled numerous times, especially in that Vegas series, when he might have, it might have been beneficial to sit Skinner for a couple. This year, the Oilers, they're learning a lot right now. And Chris Knobloch, he's learning. This team just feels a little bit different than previous Oilers teams. They're learning how to defend with leads more often in the third period. Obviously, like I said, you want to see them close things out. However, game 6 against Vancouver wasn't able to get back into it. Game 7, they did get back into it, but the Oilers did not give up a shot for the final 4 minutes and 30 seconds of that period. And then last night, same thing. They have a 2-0 lead, then it's 2-1, and I thought the Oilers played a perfect third period. And Stuart Skinner, he made saves when he had to. Like I said, pretty lucky bounce to get to Tyler Seguin, who's wide open on the back door. He ties the game up. But, that's not really a situation where I go, oh man, Edmonton blew it. That was just Dallas. They were desperate. They were pushing. But for the most part, Stuart Skinner, he played a really, really good game. If he plays like that, if he can keep this consistency, and that is the key right now for Stuart Skinner, consistency. Can he put together another quality start against Dallas, second in a row? Right now, he's had 3 straight quality starts. I would like to see a 4th tomorrow in game 2. And Stuart Skinner right now, he is shutting up a lot of the haters. I have been on Stuart Skinner's side since pretty much I started making videos. I've been defending Stuart Skinner. I was someone that before the trade deadline was like, you know what? We don't need another goaltender. We don't need to upgrade on this position. Obviously, against the Canucks, things were changing. Calvin Pickard had to come in. I was kind of questioning if Skinner did have what it takes. I think Skinner now, you're starting to see him get more comfortable. I think you're starting to see him really start to, he's got a bit of swagger. He's looking calm in that crease, and that is a good sign for Edmonton. So Stuart Skinner, super happy with him. And speaking of Skinner, we're going to jump into 5-on-5 play. I thought this was the best game the Oilers have played at even strength all playoffs. They really controlled the play, honestly. Dallas came out with a lot of tenacity in that first period. The Oilers weathered the first 10-15 minutes of that storm, and as this game progressed, Edmonton just got better and better, especially in the third period, in overtime when they made that 4-minute kill, and it went back to 5-on-5, and then, of course, they win it early in the second overtime. You just really did feel like that Edmonton was not going to lose this game. I was not worried. The only time I was actually worried watching the game was when they reviewed the double minor. They gave it to McDavid at the start of the first OT. That was the only time I was actually concerned, and I was pretty down. I was like, oh God, this is probably it. Dallas is going to find a way to win this game. But then they hit a post, and then they hit a second post. And then when Edmonton killed that off, I was telling the chat, I was like, you know what? Edmonton's got this. I felt comfortable with the game. I felt comfortable in overtime, not nearly as stressed as I usually am watching playoff games because Edmonton was so good at controlling the play at 5-on-5. They were generating the better high danger looks, in my opinion. And if Edmonton plays like that at even strength, they just need a little bit more finishing, I believe. There's a couple players that I thought could have put that puck in the net throughout the game. So if they're able to get just a little bit more scoring here, and if Stuart Skinner is able to lock things down, I really, really do like Edmonton's chances. I'm not going to get too high, though. Did I enjoy the win? Yes. Am I happy that Edmonton's up 1-0? Absolutely. But this series, as it goes along, it'll get harder and harder and harder. But I am happy that Edmonton did get a win in a Western Conference final game. They got swept in 2022 by the Colorado Avalanche. So the fact that I've been able to see Edmonton win at least one game in the Western Conference in my adult life, I actually haven't seen this since 2006, and I was 12 during that playoff run. So I'm 30 now. Yeah, I'm kind of old. Although you're probably watching, if you're older than 30, being like, what do you mean you're old? And then, if you're watching and you are younger, you're probably like, yeah, you're pretty old. So 5-on-5 play, terrific. And now let's kind of talk about the special teams, because Edmonton's special teams was also terrific, and they had to be terrific. Dallas went 0 for 5 on the power play. Edmonton went 0 for 1. And it's kind of interesting when we talk about the 5-on-5 play. Now, I will talk about this when I get to the officiating topic, but I am going to briefly mention it here. For how much the Oilers controlled play, I'm shocked that the only penalty that was called against the Dallas Stars was for too many men. not a stick infraction, not a hold, not an interference. When you're controlling the play and you're controlling puck possession, usually teams they'll take a stick infraction on you, because when you're defending as much as Dallas had to defend in their zone last night and break up cycles, that's usually where you come across those infractions. Somehow Dallas played the cleanest game in the history of the NHL. They didn't actually take any on-ice infractions against Edmonton. It was a too many men on the ice call. So Edmonton went 0 for 1 on their power play, but their penalty kill has been locked and dialed in. And every single penalty kill unit for the Oilers is on their A game right now. This is the best penalty kill I've seen this team have in my entire lifetime. And it started in that Kings series, Vancouver. They were able to get a couple power play goals. But Edmonton, I believe, has killed 19 straight power plays here, dating back to that second round. Edmonton's penalty kill has been phenomenal. And maybe the refs, maybe they're just letting Edmonton, continue to work on it. Maybe this is a good thing. Maybe this is like 4D chess from the officiating right now. They're giving other teams power plays just so that they can make sure that Edmonton's penalty kill remains really strong and gives them a chance to win the game, right? Big brain plays here. See, nobody ever thinks of this. I'm totally kidding. I don't know what I'm talking about here. But overall, special teams really good. They had to be good. And then Stuart Skinner, of course, when there was a bit of a breakdown, he was able to make the saves. There was a few saves that Stuart Skinner made last night through traffic, where he just nonchalantly would throw his glove out and catch it, and he'd just kind of skate away like, I've been here before. This is no big deal. So you love to see that, especially when a team is on the penalty kill, as much as the Oilers were last night. Great special teams from the Oilers. Hopefully they're able to generate more than just one power play in game 2. I am very curious to see how the officiating progresses here as the series goes on. But for special teams for Edmonton, really happy. It was a key to the win last night. Their penalty kill has just been phenomenal. Hopefully they can continue that. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is defense. Team defense last night. I thought all 6 defensemen for the Oilers, I thought they all played great. The Brett Kulak giveaway was one example of a mistake, but that was the only major gaffe that he made. And then, of course, Desharnais and Nurse, they had an opportunity to clear before Dallas ended up tying the game late in the third. But again, that was really their only bad shift, in my opinion. Now, when you look at the advanced metrics, Cody Ceci last night, he's listed at a 36.24 expected goals for percentage. So the advanced metrics with Cody Ceci, they're not friendly towards him. However, I thought Cody Ceci's defensive game, I thought that was one of his best games of the whole playoffs. He was defending a lot, but it wasn't because he was struggling to get the puck out of the zone. He actually had a few really nice outlet passes. There was one specific play to Kulak. I think it was the third period. And Kulak went in kind of on like a partial, like he almost had like a breakaway, and the pass that Ceci made to him from behind the net, unbelievable play. So Cody Ceci, I thought he had a really good game. Brett Kulak, he had one major mistake, but I thought he played really well. Ekholm and Bouchard, obviously, like they are just on another level right now. They are like transcending time and space when it comes to the level that they're playing at. They are just unbelievable. And then, of course, Nurse Desharnais, I thought that was actually their best games of the postseason too. They had that one negative shift in the third period, but overall, Edmonton's defense, they were ready to play, they were dialed in, and if Edmonton continues to play at that level, and they're that committed to the defensive structure, I like Edmonton's chances here. Overall, as a team, Edmonton played a really solid game 1, especially on the road. Now, in my pregame report, I did predict an Oilers win just because Dallas, usually when you see a team off for almost a full week, they're usually at the disadvantage. Now, I don't know if there's any math to back this up. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but it does seem like the team that is playing on the less amount of rest, they usually come out and win game 1 in a series. We saw that with the Bruins and Panthers. Boston won game 1, but then Florida ended up just taking over that whole series. Again, Florida against the Rangers, they win game 1. The Rangers looked a little off. I don't know who had more rest in that series, though. Was it the Rangers or Panthers? It doesn't matter. We're talking about the Stars and Oilers. So sometimes my brain just gets off track. So, for the Oilers, defensively, structure, I thought Edmonton played very well. Really happy with the overall effort. I did notice that Nurse and Ceci were given a couple shifts together throughout the game. I don't know if that was intentional. I don't know if that was just players getting caught on changes. I did notice it happened in the second period, and sometimes with the long change, you get a bit of a mismatch with different players if you're not always able to get off when you're supposed to. But I felt when Nurse and Ceci were together briefly, someone can see what the shift charts looked like. I don't know how many shifts they had together. I don't know if that was was intentional by Paul Coffey and Chris Knobloch. If it was, obviously it ended up working out. We all know Nurse and CC usually don't work well together, but I thought overall every single defenseman last night, they pulled their weight. They pulled their weight, and it was really nice to see. Evan Bouchard played 29-22 at even strength last night. That is actually unbelievable. The defenseman that played the least amount of minutes at even strength was actually Vinny Desharnais. He only played 18 minutes, but again, quality minutes. Really happy with his game overall. So, you know, when we look at the Oilers team defense, if they continue to play at this level, again, I like Edmonton's chances here, but they have to make sure that they put a second consecutive game, you know, with that effort. You need consistency in the playoffs. You need to find a way to grind these games out. And the Oilers, I'm happy they were able to grind game one. Game two is going to be even more difficult. So we need everyone to be on their A+ game in game two. With that, I am going to move on to officiating. So when it comes to officiating in the playoffs and just the regular season in general, I very rarely complain about it because we all know how bad the officiating can be. We all know how inconsistent the calls are, and I find it's just not worth my breath. I didn't talk about officiating at all in the Canucks series. If you noticed, after every single game in my day after episodes, I never once mentioned the officiating because the officiating to me didn't have an impact on the game. It could have had an impact tonight if Edmonton's penalty kill was not as good as it was. Very happy that obviously Edmonton's penalty kill was able to shut things down. But this was a situation where the officiating could have had a huge impact because of the discrepancy in power plays for one team over the other. And, you know, if Edmonton was getting completely outplayed and outchanced all night and the shots were 45-20 in favor of Dallas and Edmonton was, you know, parade to the box, I would understand that because they don't have the puck. And like I mentioned earlier, when you don't have the puck, that's usually when you take the infractions, the holding, the hooking, that sort of thing. But some of the calls last night, the one on Holloway where Lindell is literally, he puts his arm around Holloway and holds him up. Holloway's trying to skate away from him. He gets his stick, you know, in Jamie Benn's, you know, arm area. And then Holloway's called for the holding, not Lindell. I initially thought that penalty was going to Lindell because I saw Holloway being held up. But then they gave it to Holloway, who's just trying to get away from Lindell. He's trying to reach to, you know, keep skating. And then, of course, you know, what's really interesting, that call in overtime. Now, eventually, yes, that is the right call. High sticking, double minor. That's technically the right call. I want the officials to get things right. What confuses me about that, though, is that none of the refs called that. That was a linesman call, which they're allowed to do. However, I was under the impression that they have to blow the whistle right away. That high stick happened right off the draw. There was 17 seconds of play before the whistle. I'm pretty sure 4 Edmonton Oilers touched the puck. What would have happened if Edmonton scored? Would they have, like, taken that back? Would the linesman have, like, gone to the refs and been like, no, there was a high stick. I didn't blow the whistle for some reason. We have to review that now. Like, what would have actually happened if Edmonton had scored in that 17 seconds after the high stick took place and there was no whistle and 4 Oilers touched that puck? Like I said, at the end of the day, I want the refs to get the calls right. You know, I do wish that there was a better way to review certain plays. I think next year, is it coaches? I think they're able to challenge a couple different types of penalties on the ice that either called or not called. I'm not sure if that is actually a thing. I know they discussed it at the GM meetings, but for the officiating last night, I just find it very interesting that, you know, the Oilers, for how much they controlled the play at 5-on-5, they didn't even get one power play that was earned on the ice from some sort of infraction from the Dallas Stars. Now, Dallas, they're not known to take a lot of penalties. They are not the most physical team. They're big, but they're not the most physical team. And, you know, I think they only average about 2 or 2.5 penalties against per game, which is, you know, that's very, very little. So obviously I don't expect the Oilers to get a lot of power plays against Dallas. They are a disciplined team. I do give the Dallas Stars credit. I thought for the most part they played pretty disciplined last night. It's just the calls that went against the Oilers. It's like, okay, well, if that's going against the Oilers, I'm sure Dallas has also committed infractions that are similar at that level. Obviously, Edmonton did not get the benefit of these calls. So we'll see how the officiating goes on for the rest of the series. I hope I don't have to talk about it again. You know, like I said, I don't discuss the officiating because it's usually a non-factor to me. At the end of the day, the players on the ice have to determine, you know, they have to get through it. And for Oilers fans, we should be really used to, you know, interesting officiating against this team. Obviously, round two, the Oilers got away with a lot against the Canucks. The Canucks got away with a lot against Edmonton. Same with the Kings in round one. The Kings got away with a lot, and the Oilers got away with a lot. So this is not something that I want to discuss a lot moving forward, but I did want to mention it because last night, when there is a clear discrepancy in how the game is being officiated, I don't like to use, game management very often, but it was interesting. So I am curious to see who officiates game two and if Edmonton is able to actually get more than one power play this time. At the end of the day, I would rather see the players, determine the outcome, and I'm happy Edmonton was able to get through that. At the end of the day, puck does not lie either. So Edmonton, they deserved the win last night. They came out with the win. The officiating did not affect them, which is a really good thing. The Oilers battled through it. They didn't allow the officiating to frustrate them. And I do like that Connor McDavid got the game winner after taking the double minor in the first overtime. A little bit of redemption for Davo. So moving on here, keys for game two. What do the Oilers have to do to possibly go up 2-0 in the series to head back to Edmonton? Well, play like they did in game one. Just try and limit the major, the major mental mistakes. Brett Kulak's mistake where he didn't get the puck up, it was pretty similar to the McLeod play in game 7 against Vancouver. Same part of the ice, just fanned on his pass up the boards. It's stripped by the opponent, and they come in. The Oilers actually had a chance to recover there. Brett Kulak, he had a chance to tie up Seguin at the back door before it came to him. But Kulak was kind of off balance, and he was kind of shoving at Seguin rather than looking to see where the puck was. Seguin, he was just banging for that puck, and it ended up going in. So keys for game two, just continue to play really solid defense. Stuart Skinner needs to keep playing well. He needs another start like last night. Stuart Skinner is obviously very key to this series. He outdueled Jake Ottinger, and if you're able to outduel Jake Ottinger, you are probably going to win more games than you lose. So for the Oilers, hopefully they continue to get really strong goaltending, strong defense, strong goaltending, special teams as well. As long as that penalty kill remains red hot. And if they are able to score on the power play, the Oilers did have a chance to go up 3-1 on their power play. They did not do it. I would like to see more killer instinct from this team. They have opportunities sometimes I wouldn't have said that, would have put away the Dallas Stars, but the Oilers do get opportunities to put a team away. They do get opportunities to really put the foot down and be like, no, you're not getting back in this game. And the Oilers, they just haven't found that killer instinct yet, in my opinion. So I would like to see more killer instinct. If they get out to a lead, I need them to continue to assert themselves and build on the lead. And of course, third period play, I really like that they didn't sit back last night with the lead. It was a much different story than how they played against the Vancouver Canucks. So of course, if Edmonton does manage to get a lead, they need to keep pushing the issue, keep pushing, keep pressing, and keep attacking, Heiskanen and Tanev and, these Dallas Stars that were really talked highly of before this series. The Oilers' big stars, they came out to play, and as long as Edmonton's big guns are firing on all cylinders, and, we all know how top-heavy Edmonton can be, if they can get just a little bit of secondary scoring here and there, if they can just get a third and fourth line goal here and there, Edmonton will be in a good position to win game two. But that's pretty much it from me. What did you think about the game last night? What do you think the Oilers need to do to come out on top in game two? What do you think the Dallas Stars need to improve on if you're a Stars fan? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section below. If you liked this day after episode, make sure you hit that like button. If you really liked it, make sure you subscribe. And of course, tell someone that you love them today. All right. Truly appreciate it. Hockey fans, you are seriously the best. Let's go Oilers. I'll see you tomorrow for the pregame report. Or, if there's major breaking news, of course, I upload daily on this channel. So we will see you all soon. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Take care, everyone.